6 negative personality traits of Capricorn Zodiac sign explained. If there's such a thing as a controversial zodiac sign, then that's exactly what Capricorn is. No one seems to be indifferent towards Capricorns. Either they love them or they hate them. There's no in-between. But why is that? After all, they're hard workers, persistent, intelligent, great planners, and responsible. All of which are things a lot of people look for in friends and lovers, right? To find out why people have such strong opinions of Capricorns, we've dwelled on their personalities, tastes, dislikes, and habits to uncover the 6 most negative Capricorn personality traits. Once you know what these traits are, you'll understand why Capricorn is such a controversial sign. Here are the 6 negative personality traits of Capricorn. Number 1. Once wrong, they never forgive. No one can hold on to a grudge like Capricorns. Sure, they might reach a truce and act like everything is all right, but they find it incredibly hard to forgive others. It doesn't matter how much you apologize or what you attempt to do to get back in their good graces. Once a Capricorn is sincerely, deeply angry at you, there's no getting back their trust. Capricorns find it very hard to trust others to begin with. So if you show yourself capable of hurting them, they'll stop trusting you with the same intensity. Sure, they might find it in themselves to give you a second chance, but things will be different enough that you'll notice. Luckily, it takes a while to get here with Capricorn, who doesn't take most things personally. Unluckily, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter if you're in the right. What you had with Capricorn is just not coming back. Number 2. They're annoying know-it-alls. Capricorns are deeply intellectual individuals who value thought over almost everything else. They pursue cerebral interest and are practically obsessed with learning new things, particularly when it comes to their favorite subjects. While there's nothing wrong with acquiring knowledge, Capricorn is in the bad habit of sharing it with others whether they want to hear it or not, which means that they're very likely to give explanations no one ever asked for, which can be incredibly annoying. To their credit, Capricorns are generally aware of this and will attempt to control themselves and restrict their info dump to those who actually want to hear it. It doesn't work every time, but they at least try. Number 3. They're incredibly condescending. Healthy, well-adapted Capricorns acknowledge that not everyone is into the same things as them and that everyone has different interests and abilities. Unhealthy, immature Capricorns see others as idiots who don't know what they're doing and tend to look down on anyone who doesn't show some arbitrary level of knowledge on a particular subject of Capricorn's choice. While it's true that we all tend to like people better when there's shared interest, Capricorns tend to act condescending towards those they perceive as less intelligent or less capable. This goes double for the things they're particularly passionate about, as Capricorns will take other people's ignorance on the subject almost personally and will act like it's the other person's obligation to know more about that thing. Number 4. They're highly critical of other people's beliefs. There's nothing wrong with being skeptical of other people's personal beliefs, be them religious or superstitious. In fact, skepticism can be a healthy thing, which often leads to experimentation and useful discoveries that can propel humanity even further. What is wrong, though, is to weaponize that skepticism and use it to target other people's beliefs, particularly in situations where those beliefs aren't hurting anyone, and that's something Capricorn delights in doing. Being skeptical of other people's beliefs isn't a problem, but being highly confrontational and going after people's beliefs, even when other people are trying to keep their distance, is just asking for trouble and alienating people who just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because that's the thing about Capricorn. They'll go out of their way to find people who believe in something and will systematically attack them in hopes of showing them how wrong they are, sincerely believing they're doing them a favor. The only thing worse than a jerk is a militant one. Number 5. They're way too serious. While some Capricorns have a fantastic sense of humor, most of them tend to be overly serious in just about every aspect of their lives. They're highly logical, aloof, standoffish, and downright rigid at times, and they're not afraid of going after others if they disapprove of how other people are having fun. While there's nothing wrong with being a stick in the mud, being constantly on other people's business, attempting to police what they say and what they do is incredibly annoying, and unfortunately, it's something Capricorns are incredibly prone to. Yes, rules are there for a reason, and they usually exist to facilitate social interactions and just make everything easier for everyone. And in that sense, we get why Capricorns care so deeply about what others are doing. But there is such a thing as taking it too far. The truth of the matter is that Capricorns find it very hard to mind their own business, and, what's worse, they find it even harder to keep their opinions to themselves. If you've ever run into some stranger online who feels entitled to criticize your sense of humor or your personal taste, chances are you've encountered a Capricorn. Number 6. They're huge downers. Capricorns not only see the glass half empty, they see it as actively leaking. They're pessimists at heart, who choose to focus on every way things can go wrong rather than hope for the best. While this isn't necessarily a bad thing, a Capricorn will always have plans B through Z. It's undoubtedly an emotionally taxing situation by anyone who spends too much time around a Capricorn. Yes, planning for the worst is a good idea, but Capricorns seem to actively expect it, and no one wants to be around that kind of negativity. Wait, it gets worse. Remember how Capricorns are highly critical? Well, their critical personalities and their pessimistic tendencies often blend together into the near pathological need of poking holes into other people's plans and fantasies with absolutely no regard for how they make other people feel. They might think they're helping, since pointing out how things can go wrong is the best way of avoiding mistakes in the first place, but that's not necessarily how others see it. While Capricorns may see it as being logical and planning for the worst, others might see it as Capricorns being unnecessarily pessimistic, or worse, wanting them to fail. It's all about how Capricorn chooses to express themselves. Conclusion. To put it bluntly, Capricorns are the quintessential teacher's pet. They like to follow the rules, stick to a plan, and generally adhere to a clear and well-defined worldview and set of ideas. They like it even more when it's their worldview, which means they're very likely to try and make others follow it, whether they want to or not. In general, though, Capricorns aren't bad people, just plain annoying. Their biggest sin is taking themselves and their preferences way too seriously, and it's something most of them are capable of growing out of given enough pushback and time. Well-adapted, healthy Capricorns recognize that trying to dictate everyone's actions and interests is a fool's errand and try to focus only on the things they care about. It doesn't always work, but it works often enough that they can have good friends who enjoy spending time with them. Unfortunately, Capricorns, though, are a pain in the ass, and people often find themselves avoiding them just to spare themselves the annoyance of having to sit through yet another lecture, whether they're informed about all their shortcomings simply because they're not exactly like Capricorn envisions. Subtle, they are not. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and let us know your thoughts in the comment box.